Hello, everybody. How are all the critters doing out there? Thought I'd hop on today and talk with you all a little bit, let you know what I've been up to, and fill you in on my critters, my chicks, and things that are going on around here. A little excited today. I went on a treasure hunt and I found something pretty nice. But I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. So, you may or may not know, my name is Papa D Mouse. I am a garden gnome. I like to plant things, watch them grow. I like to grow veggies, tend my chickens. I used to have rabbits, but we're taking a break from rabbits for a little bit. I've got to do some repairs on the hutches and make sure they're all clean and whatnot and ready for some new tenants. So right now all we have are chickens. We have 14 ladies out there working hard in the hot sun. And they keep us company, they keep the bugs down, and they supply us with a good amount of eggs, anywhere from 6 to 10, sometimes 12 a day. The heat's been getting to them a little much, so they haven't really been laying that well right now. But that's okay, because they've worked hard all summer, and I've got a good store packed away in lime water there for winter. So a lot of people don't know that chickens dial back their egg laying over the winter. So you've got to think ahead. You've got to plan for those things. And one of the ways that we plan is by preserving the eggs. What we do is we mix lime, the powder lime, with water, and we submerge the eggs in that lime bath, and that's called glassing the eggs. And I think it's called that because after a while, the lime forms a film on top of the water that looks kind of like glass. Anyway, I've got about 200 eggs stored away for winter. The gnome family, we go through a lot of eggs. We eat a lot of eggs. I make a lot of custards, rice puddings, a lot of omelets, a lot of quiche, wonderful egg meals. And it's good stuff. They're good for you. You know, a lot of people think that eggs raise your cholesterol, but not really. I mean, I suppose if you're eating 30, 40, a week, but we don't eat that much. We spread them out. In fact, I think I'm going to have to make some frozen custard soon. So we're getting a pretty big pile of fresh eggs out there, and eggs can last a good 2 weeks on your countertop. They don't need to be refrigerated when they come right from the chicken. You know, when you get them from the store, you have to refrigerate them. That's because they wash off that protective coating that comes natural on the egg. But we keep our eggs in a basket on the countertop. And, they're delicious. We've got brown eggs, blue eggs, kind of greenish eggs. One thing we don't have, though, are, funny enough, are white eggs. We don't have those. So you can see in the upper right-hand corner, that's the hutch that my son and I built. Um, they've got a nice yard that's enclosed, but we let them out into the larger yard during the day. They're pretty well protected. And then we lock them up at night, and they sit. They do have perches inside the hutch, the coop there, but a lot of them just sit right outside on the edge all night. They're they feel pretty safe. Their hutch area is a big pergola that has grapevines growing over the side. That's what you see in the back there. And that helps shade them in the morning. And I've put up some shade cloth along the back to help shade them in the afternoon. It's not doing a great job, so I'm going to have to order another one that's a bit darker. So those are my critters. Those are my chickens. Hopefully you'll see them coming in and out in a little bit. Let's refresh the cam and see. Maybe it's frozen up. That happens once in a while. The critter cam doesn't really like to stay on. It's powered by solar power, so, it goes into sleep mode. But let's see what we can see. Critter cam. Let's see here. Okay. Just gonna take just a moment, refresh that. And nope, I don't see any of my ladies out there right now. They're probably out in the bigger yard. I've ordered another camera so we can get a picture of their play yard and see them during the day. They'll be in a little bit for some water, I'm sure. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about my treasure hunt today. I went out to do some grocery shopping, and I decided I would take a stop at a local thrift store. And as I was wandering around, started looking at some books for Mama Gnome, and I found her some nice older books about shorthand. She's very interested in those type of things. And so I picked those up for her, and then I turned around, and in one of the cases, something caught my eye. So I went over and I took a better look, and I saw a pristine Nintendo DS. Thing was in perfect shape. Beautiful little red Nintendo DS with the charger. So I asked the gentleman there if I could see it. I wanted to see if it would power on. Sure enough, it powered on. And works great. Now I have a old DS Lite that's pretty beat up, and we got it for the kids when they were little. And they don't play with it anymore, so I thought, hey, I need something to play these games on. So I looked at the price, and it was about $10. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, there's got to be something wrong with it. $10 for this? And I'm looking and I'm turning it over and I'm opening and closing it, turning it on and off, and everything works. Everything works perfectly, and there's not a scratch on this thing. I'm telling you. The screens are beautiful. All the buttons work just fine. Battery keeps a charge. I had to work on doing a factory reset on it, because it had parental controls engaged. But I found out how to do that. That was pretty easy. And I'm telling you, it's quite a nice one. It's got that camera on the front and the camera on the hinge. Pretty nice. I was very lucky to find it, and to find it in time before someone else did. But I love going out and finding treasures and hunting around. There is a lot of truth in the statement that one person's garbage is another person's treasure. And one man's trash is another man's treasure. It's true. My first house that I lived in, I rented a 3-story tenement in Providence, Rhode Island. And I completely furnished that house with things that other people were tossing out, getting rid of. I was 18, 19 years old, living on my own, and I rented this place for $200 a month with the agreement that I would help fix it up and do a little bit of repair every month as well, to compensate for the rent being so cheap. And I mean, this place was huge, huge. It had a double parlor and a living room, 2 bedrooms, large kitchen, bathroom and a pantry, and an entryway. And that's just the first floor. That pattern was repeated on the second floor. And on the third floor, there were, let's see, 4 bedrooms. And it was split up into 2 houses, so to speak, like a duplex. There were 2 doors in the front, and the door on the right would open up onto the first floor, and the door on the left had a staircase up to the second floor, and then also went up to the third floor. And in the back of the house, on the first floor, there was a staircase that went up to the third floor. And the agreement was that, when it's split into 2 like that, the third floor, it's split in half. So there was a door in between the 3rd and 4th rooms that locked on both sides. And, one room was for the first floor family, and one room was for the one half was for the second floor family. When I was living there, I was the only one. So I had full run of the entire house. And I mean, this thing was gorgeous. It had hardwood floors. When I moved in, it still had gas lighting fixtures from the 1800s. The thing was built in, I think it was 1890, and crystal doorknobs. The double parlor had pocket doors that separated the two rooms that would slide into the walls. There was a built-in hutch in one of the rooms. And it's all heated by the radiators, big cast iron radiators with a huge boiler downstairs. But I furnished that entire house, I took the first floor. So I furnished the first floor and the two rooms up at the third floor that belonged to the first floor. I furnished all of them with things that, other people were getting rid of. Couches, large chairs, nothing ratty or, disgusting, just good stuff that people didn't want anymore that they were getting rid of. In fact, one day I was driving to work and I was ahead of schedule and I'm driving around and some guy is bringing out this huge console television set. And I mean, this thing was really, really big. Let me see if I can get a picture of one. And this thing, it must have been from the 70s, maybe the early 80s. And it had speakers on either side, big, large speakers, television in the middle, and the top didn't lift up like some of them did. Some of the tops would lift up and you would see a record player or 8-track cassette, things like that. Here's a good picture. So let's see. Here we go. I will see if I can pop this on for you. Create new, and we'll try that. Is that going to let me? I'm very new at this, if you couldn't tell. So I apologize that things aren't working out too well. Let's see if I can get rid of that, and we'll put in save that as Big TV. All right. And we'll go here with that. Pictures, and where are you? There it is. Yep. That right there. That is something like what I picked up that day. Because the guy was throwing it out, he didn't know why it wouldn't work. he had gotten it from his father or something like that. I forget exactly. But he thought it was just old and not working. So he was throwing it out, and it was in really good shape. You know, there were no scratches really. And I asked him, I said, why are you throwing this out? It looks good. And he says, oh, it doesn't work out here. You know, we were in the woods. And he said he was going to get a new one, a larger one, and this one was too small anyway, the screen. So I asked him if I could have it. And, it's a nice guy. He said, sure. So he helped me to put it into my car. And I went to work, did what I did, got home, and I connected it to the antenna that was on the top of the third story roof, of course, and it worked perfect. Worked great. VCR connected great to it. And, it's not the hugest screen in the world. It's small, but I'm a simple guy. Doesn't really matter to me. So I had fun. I got a television for free. I got so many things from people who just toss things away. Dining room table, chairs. And yes, I did buy some stuff myself. Not a lot, though. I bought my silverware, my dishes, cookware, things like that. The refrigerator came with the house, and that was one of those avocado green 1960 refrigerators that had a foot pedal that you could open the door with. And the shelves turned like a lazy Susan inside. And yes, you had to manually defrost the freezer every once in a while, or it'd be packed with ice. But I bet that fridge is still operating. I bet that fridge is still going. Crazy. Because, another thing is true. Just like they said, they don't build things like they used to. So, but yeah, treasure hunting. It's the little things, the little joys in life. You find things and you just, because I looked it up on eBay, even just getting one refurbished from eBay is $40, $50 of these Nintendos. So to find one at a thrift store in this good of shape for $10 is insane. So I consider myself very lucky today. Had a good time, and I get a lot of things from the thrift store. A lot of the monitors I'm using right now are from there, and they work great. $5 for one, $10 for another, $8 for another. A lot of people think that they have to have the newest and the best of everything. And I'll be honest with you, that's just not true. A lot of times, the older things are the better things. remember growing up, we had our cast iron pans, pots, and skillets and whatnot. Not everything was cast iron, but some of it was. And when I got on my own, I bought, aluminum pans, the cheap things that you get as you're starting out. Basically, the kids' college dishware. And as you grow older, you see these things that are coming out, and they're, oh, this is new, this is better, this is great. And I tried a lot of those things. I bought Mama Gnome a pot and pan set for one Christmas. And these pots and pans, oh, they're very good. But, and they were all non-stick and everything, and they had the rubber grips on the handles, and they were solid built. Very, very nice. And we've had them now for, God, 18 years, 19 years. But we found that we prefer cooking on cast iron. I mean, we have a cast iron skillet on the stove, and that's where it stays. We use it, we clean it, we put it back on the stove for the next person to use. We don't put it away. It stays on the stove all the time. Because everybody prefers that pan. We have a rice cooker that we got at the thrift store that works like a charm. And, a lot of times I think people get rid of these things because they just don't know how to use them. I was on Pumpkin Potion's stream, and we got to talking about treasures and things, and I told everyone about an air fryer that I picked up at the thrift store for, I think it was $10. And it worked and all. Everything lit up, timer went on, fan went on, everything, but the heating element did not work. And I thought to myself, as I'm there in the thrift store, looking at it, testing it, and I'm thinking to myself, I bet that heating element doesn't really cost all that much. And I bet you it's really easy to fix, to take out and put in a new one. And I'm thinking to myself, if it's the heating element and I get a new one and I replace it and it works, great. I've got this nice, very nice $120 air fryer for $10 plus the cost of a heating element. And if it doesn't work, what am I out? I'm out $10 and the cost of a heating element. No big deal in the long run. So I bought it and I cleaned it, scoured it, and it wasn't all that dirty, but I cleaned it all. And I ordered the heating element. Took a little bit to find, but I ordered one. Heating element cost about $17, I believe. And when it came in, I took the air fryer all apart, replaced it. It's very easy to do. And started it up. Put it all back together, started it up, and it works perfect. It works perfect. I can't tell you how many stories like this I have where I find something, I fix it, and it works great. Or sometimes you just find something that works well. I found a lot of crock pots and a deep fryer. The problem with the deep fryer was whoever had it didn't want to clean it. And my only guess is that they used it until it got too dirty to use anymore, and then they decided to get rid of it. And in the state that it was in, it was disgusting. But I made sure it worked, and I bought it for, I think it was like $5. And I cleaned it up at home, took it all apart, cleaned it up, and it cleaned up nice, shiny, like it's brand new. And put it back together, and it works fine. Works great. So, don't always think you have to have the latest and the greatest. Be willing to put in a little bit of work, and you'd be amazed at what you can find. I hope that's a lesson my son has learned, because he's helped me do a lot of these refurbishings. And like I said, he helped me build that chicken coop there. And he's going to be studying to be an electrician. Right now he's working and putting some money away and doing well. Setting himself up for success, I'm telling you. He's a smart kid. I wish I had been that smart when I was a little younger. And so that's my treasure hunt story. And I'm glad you guys came to listen for it. I was thinking about what game to play today, and a couple of them ran across my brain. One of them was called Neverhood from 1996, and it's a point-and-click game. It's claymation. If you think Wallace and Gromit, that's a pretty good idea of what it is. It's pretty wacky. So I dug it out of my Blu-rays backups. I have a Blu-ray burner here that I back up everything onto. And I dug it out. I tried to install it. And I forgot that it's a bit hard to install because it wants Windows 95. So I'm going to work on that for next stream. And we'll get some Neverhood in for next time. As for today, I was thinking that we could do a little text adventure. One I remember from long, long ago, Zork. Now this came out in 1981. 1981. And I played it way back, probably not in 81. I probably played this about, let's see, probably 89, 88 or 89. I I know I didn't play it on my personal computer that I had. I played it in my junior high school, because it was all one there. It was a small school. We had both junior high and high school together, and even combining 7th through 12th grades, we didn't break 1,000 students. But it was a good school. I loved it. Nice, cozy. Everybody knew everybody. That part couldn't be all that great all the time. But it is what it is. So let's take a quick hydration break, and we'll start her up. Okay, let's see here. Just a second. Okay. All right, just a second here. All right. All right, so let's start her up. And this game is called Zork. This is the first in the series. There are no images here. It is all text. This is kind of like a choose your own adventure game. And we'll do number 1, and there we go. Crazy, huh? All right. So these games, basically, like I said, it's a choose your own adventure game, kind of like the books. You're given a description of where you are, what's going on, and you tell the game what you want to do. Remember, this is 1981. So, yeah, it's don't have the 3D graphics and the killer sound that everybody's used to. But these games are still good. They're still fun. And, they have their place. So, we are west of a house. We are standing in an open field west of a white house with a boarded front door. There is a small mailbox here. And I'm going to open mailbox. Now, when you give this type of a game instructions, you have to be kind of not, I don't want to say abrupt, but you have to be very simplistic with your instructions. Because it's not AI. It doesn't understand everything. It's looking for keywords. So open mailbox, and opening this small mailbox reveals a leaflet. We're going to read the leaflet. Okay. Welcome to Zork. Zork is a game of adventure, danger, and low cunning. In it, you will explore some of the most amazing territory ever seen by mortals. No computer should be without one. Okay. Let's close mailbox. And remember, we're west of a house with a boarded up front door. So let's go to the door. It's here. And here's an example of a command that it doesn't know. Unboard. Now, to be fair, it's not really a word, but I thought maybe it might be in its list of acceptable commands, but it's not. So what do? Let's try open door. The door cannot be opened. So let's board it up and let's say we'll go east. The door is boarded up. You can't remove the boards. Okay. Look. We're still west of the house. We're standing in an open field west of a house with a boarded up front door. There's a mailbox. So let's try north. North of a house. You are facing the north side of a white house. There is no door here, and all the windows are boarded up. To the north, a narrow path winds through the trees. Let's try follow path. Specify direction. Okay. So we'll go down the path to the north. This is a path winding through a dimly lit forest. The path heads north and south. Here, one particularly large tree with some low branches stands at the edge of the path. Let's try to climb the tree. You are about 10 feet above the ground, nestled among some large branches. The nearest branch above you is above your reach, so we can't go any higher. Behind you on the branch is a small bird's nest. In the bird's nest is a large egg encrusted with some precious jewels, apparently scavenged by a childless songbird. The egg is covered with fine gold inlay and ornamented in lapis lazuli and mother of pearl. Like most eggs, this one is hinged and closed with a delicate-looking clasp. The egg appears extremely fragile. We're going to take the egg. Take it. And we'll try to open it, but we have neither the tools nor the expertise. Okay. But we have the egg. So let's get down from the tree. And we're going to head north again. You're in a clearing with a forest surrounding you on all sides. A path leads south. On the ground is a pile of leaves. Let's try to move the leaves. Done. In disturbing the pile of leaves, a grating is revealed. Ah, an interesting idea. Trying to remove the grating is an interesting idea. Let's see. All right, so this will tell us a little bit more. We're in a clearing. With a forest surrounding you on all sides, a path leads south. Here is a grating securely fastened into the ground. On the ground is a pile of leaves. So now we know that we cannot move the grate. It's fastened to the ground and there's a pile of leaves. And there's a forest all around us. So what happens if we try to go north again? The forest becomes impenetrable to the north. So now we're back at the house. Let's try east. Okay, you are behind the White House. A path leads into the forest to the east. On the corner of the house, there's a small window which is slightly ajar. All right, so we have an entry point. Let's try open window. With great effort, you open the window far enough to allow entry. Enter. We are in the kitchen. You are in the kitchen of the White House. A table seems to have been used recently for the preparation of food. A passage leads to the west, and a dark staircase can be seen leading upward. A dark chimney leads down into the east. A dark chimney leads down, and to the east is a small window which is open. That's the one we just climbed through. On the table is an elongated brown sack smelling of hot peppers. A bottle is sitting on the table. The glass bottle contains a quantity of water. So let's take the bottle and we'll take the sack. All right, so we have a Fabergé egg, we have a bottle of water, and we have a brown sack that smells of hot peppers. All right, what to do? So we have a passage to the west and a dark staircase leading up, and a chimney that leads down. So let's go up the staircase. Or should we explore the rest of the rooms, the first floor? Let's do the first floor. So we're in a living room. There is a doorway to the east. That's the one we just came through, the kitchen. A wooden door with a strange Gothic lettering to the west, which appears to be nailed shut, and a trophy case, and a large oriental rug in the center of the room. Above the trophy case hangs an elvish sword of great antiquity. A battery-powered brass lantern is on the trophy case. So let's take the lantern and we'll take the sword and let's look in the trophy case. It's empty. Okay. Let's try to read the Gothic lettering. The engravings translate to "this space intentionally left blank." Nice. Okay. Let's try to move the rug. With great effort, the rug is moved to one side of the room, revealing a dusty cover of a closed trap door. Do we want to open the trap door or leave that and explore the rest of the rooms and the staircase? I think we should try the staircase. Let's get our bearings. And okay. So we'll go up the staircase. You've moved into a dark place. It is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a grue. Let's turn on the lantern. This is the attic. The only exit is a stairway leading down. A large coil of rope is lying in the corner. On a table is a nasty-looking knife. Let's take the knife, and we'll take the rope. All right, so we're getting quite an inventory here. And let's see. Should be pretty much it. We'll move the table. The table can't be moved. Okay. And we're back in the kitchen. So now we have the option of either trying to open the trap door or going down the chimney. I say we try the chimney. Only Santa Claus climbs down the chimneys. Okay, so let's go for the trapdoor. The door reluctantly opens to reveal a rickety staircase descending into the darkness. All right, I'm going to look one more time at the room. A wooden door with strange Gothic lettering to the west. Let's try to open the Gothic lettering door here. Can't be opened. Okay. So the trapdoor is already open. Let's go down the trapdoor. Go down. You're in a dark and damp cellar with a narrow passageway leading north and a crawlway to the south. On the west is the bottom of a steep metal ramp, which is unclimbable. Your sword is glowing with a faint blue glow. We're going to draw the sword. Okay. So we already have it. Okay. So it knows we have the sword, and it's glowing all Lord of the Rings style. And let's see. Let's go north. All right. And the troll room, of course. This is a small room with passages to the east and south and a forbidding hole leading east. Blood stains and deep scratches, perhaps made by an axe, mar the walls. A nasty-looking troll brandishing a bloody axe blocks all passages out of the room. Your sword has begun to glow very brightly. The troll swings his axe and nicks your arm as you dodge. We're going to attack with the sword. Isn't what I recognize. Trying to attack the troll with your bare hands is, let's use the sword. Kill troll with sword. All right. So it understood that sentence. And trial and error was a big part of these games. And yeah, they're not as advanced as today's games. You know, the AI of today would understand what you're trying to say, what you're trying to get across. But you have to be very specific with these older games. But that was some of the charm of it. You know, these were new back then, and just the idea of interacting with a game like this and making the decisions was crazy to us. And I think I told this story last time. My family, we were walking through Sears, and in the center of the showroom there was a computer set up, and it was connected to a printer. And there was a game like this on it, and anyone could sit down and try it, so I did. And as you typed out your commands, it would print out the story. So I played for a little bit, and I asked the guy if I could have the printout of my story. And, you know, he said, yeah. And it was one of those dot matrix printers, you know. So it had the perforations on either side with all the holes and everything. And to a kid, you know, that was pretty cool to have. Because I took it to school, and I showed everyone that this was the story that I was a part of. It wasn't just a story somebody wrote, it was a story that I helped write. So, kill troll with sword. You charge, but the troll jumps nimbly aside. The troll hits you with a glancing blow, and you are momentarily stunned. Let's try to give the troll a sack. The troll, who is not overly proud, graciously accepts the gift, and not having the most discriminating taste, gleefully eats it. Okay, so he ate the peppers, and he still tries to kill me. Thanks, troll. This troll's pretty good. I think he's going to get me. Let's see. Let's try telling the troll to stop. The troll isn't much of a conversationalist. The troll pauses for a moment, perhaps thinking that you should reread the manual. Oh, goodness. Okay. The troll is knocked out. Wow, we knocked him out. Okay. So let's look again. Bloodstains. All right, so this is a small room with passages to the east and south, and a forbidding hole leading west. Bloodstains and deep scratches, perhaps made by an axe, mar the walls. There's a bloody axe here. We're going to... No, he was knocked out. So the troll swings it out of your reach. The troll swings, the blade turns on your armor but crashes broadside into your head. Okay, ouch. You're still recovering from the last blow, so your attack is ineffective. The axe sweeps past you as you jump aside. Okay, we got to get this troll, but I'm not quite sure. Should we throw the water on the troll? Oh, we're dead. There's no good surface. There's no good surface on the troll. The flat of the troll's axe hits you delicately on the head, knocking you out. Conquering his fears, the troll puts you to death. It appears that your last blow was too much for you. That last blow was too much for you. I'm afraid you're dead. Now let's take a look here. You'll probably deserve another chance. All right. Now let's take a look here. Well, you probably deserve another chance. I can't quite fix you up completely, but you can't have everything. Forest. This is a forest with trees in all directions. To the east there appears to be sunlight. And we're empty-handed. So let's go east. Forest path. This is a path winding through a dimly lit forest. The path heads north-south here. One particularly large tree with some low branches stands at the edge of the path. So we climb the tree again, and beside you is a branch. On the branch is a small bird's nest. And the bird's nest is empty. So it knows that we've already taken the egg. It hasn't reset the game. So let's go. Climb down, and we'll go south. Okay. We've already got that. And go south. Windows are all boarded up. All right. So we're back in the kitchen. And we're going to go back into the living room. We're going to take the lantern. And the trapdoor is closed again. Oh, the trapdoor shut and someone barred it. Let's see. Let's go south. East of chasm. You are on the east edge of a chasm, the bottom of which cannot be seen. A narrow passage goes to the north, and the path you are on continues to the east. Kind of want my stuff from the troll. So I don't know if we go back to the troll room, if we're going to get the troll again. So let's see. Control room, master of the control, blanche, blocks all passage. Alright. And he got me again. Well, that didn't take long, did it? Oh, good game. Good game. Okay. So that was Zork. And fun game. There were a lot of those type of games out there. You know, and Colossal Caverns, Zork, a lot of other knockoffs, and they all were pretty much the same thing. You gave it commands, you walked around, but they were fun. This Zork series had 4, 5, maybe more. Zork 1, 2, 3, Zork 0. They started putting graphics in it. You know, Zork 0 had a lot more to read, a lot of graphics in it. But Zork 1, 2, and 3, they were all released in 81. And then there was Return to Zork. That was more of a... I think they tried to go for the Myst look with that one. That was back in 93, where they put in some actors, live action, and I don't remember playing those games, the live action Zorks. I think I had moved on to other games by then. You know, and life takes over, of course, things like that. But what did you guys think? Did you like Zork? Did you? I mean, you're not going to spend a couple hundred hours in it like you would in Skyrim or something like that. But it's nice for distraction, for a quick game, a little nostalgia. I like to bring these games up and showcase them because there's something that they're fun to play and they're interesting, and most people these days, they don't even know that they exist. Kids today definitely don't know, for the most part, that these games exist. So it's good for people to look back every once in a while and look at what we had and what we have now, and have fun with it, you know. Let's check up on our chickies here. We'll refresh the camera. see what's going on. Let's see here. Okay. Where are you? There we go. Hopefully I can find a better program to watch the critters with. Oh, yes, we've got some action here. Let's see. Critter cam. There we go. Yeah. Looks like they're all getting ready to come back home for the night. It's about 6:30 where I am right now. So they're all coming back for a nice drink of water. I've got to refill that water, clean it out tonight. And, they're going to get ready to take a break and relax. My beautiful ladies. Probably got about 6 or 8 eggs out there. I got 10 last night. So, but let's see. Let's play another game. Let's see if we can get another game going on here. Now, here's one that came out in '96. And let's see if it's playable. I haven't tested this one. So I hope it works well. I gotta relearn. I haven't played it since '96, so we'll see what happens. This game is called Privateer 2. Control F4 to change CDs when prompted. So let's go to gameplay screen and okay. Okay. I hope this does not turn out to be very loud. That might be very loud, so let's see what we can do about that. I hope that's a bit better. I hope it's not too soft now either. Let's check it out. I hope this isn't too loud for everyone. Okay. So, now like I said, I haven't played this game since it came out, but let's see what we can do. Man, they put a lot of effort into these older games.
You're a hungry man.
Yeah, I guess I could eat.
You are starving, don't deny it. A barman nowadays, he has to have a sixth sense about his customers. And I'm nothing if I'm not a barman. Your credit's sweet enough. So, we have stew, we have lizard guts. Oh, and we have space.
Lizard guts.
Both.
I'll have the stew, please.
I could have told you that. And you prefer your beer lukewarm, right?
No. No, actually, I prefer it. Lukewarm.
These scenes were a big selling point of the game.
Don't mind them, they're loud-mouthed, vicious cutthroats. But they're decent loud-mouthed cutthroats.
So they're no trouble, no?
No, nothing I can't see coming. Though some spaces, as soon as they walk in, I can smell it on them, so I'll break their necks just a little to be on the safe side. Not trouble I smell on you, is it?
I left my troubles outside.
Good. As soon as I saw you, I said, well, there's one smart vertebrae. You hang around here and I see you all right, decent food and drink, maybe a couple of juicy deals. Oh, a respectable guy like you wants to be careful where he's seen. You don't want to hang out in some spitting sawdust toilet with a liquor license. You need somewhere like this. Place with a little, hey.
Thanks for the advice, sir.
My friends call me Joe. Probably because that's my name.
They're various.
Of course you are. Manners.
It's like a full movie.
Joe, you mentioned some juicy deals.
And there it is.
Not just juicy. Terrific. Suppliers, wholesalers, shoppers. You might say that I run a very moist establishment.
Sounds more than slightly illegal. I don't like the sound of it. Maybe I can get a bargain. Something a little hot.
So the privateer games, they are pretty much what they say they are. You're a privateer. You're looking to make money, buy and sell, do jobs, different things like that. So let's go with maybe I can get a bargain.
Ship dealers, maybe.
Not many. Most people use the booth system now. But I'll keep an eye out for something, though. Yip, yip.
Okay. So what all are we going to do? We've already talked with the bartender. Who's this guy? So I don't think there is anything else to do in here. Let's exit the Sinner's Inn. And there's customs. Quite crazy. I mean, it's very immersive, this game. More so than some of the modern day privateer games that I've played. The cinematics are great. I mean, the quality obviously is not what we would consider great today, but back when this game came out, it was very good. And it's fun. I mean, you can tell that they put a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of energy into this game. So let's go to customs. Most people use the booth. Okay. Public records. Bulletin board. That's probably where we're going to find our jobs. Ships, where we can buy ships, trade, upgrade, things like that. Commodities, buy and sell. And news bulletins. So let's check out the news first. New hardcore dates announced. Alice Calmari writes, Dance Commune Hard. Core have revealed the plans for their next 3-day be-in set to take place on Hermes. It seems that we can expect the usual mix of right-on sounds, ethnic education, and spiritual exploration. Police are worried that the event will attract warp steroid dealers and are going to establish patrols around the planet. So if we're going to go to Hermes, we better not carry anything illegal, because we're probably going to get raided, and we don't want that. Okay. Let's check out our ship. Airship, purchase equipment. What kind of a ship do we have right now? Current ship. We don't have one. We have 13,500 credits. So we need a ship. We got nothing. Okay. So I'm not sure how we're going to manage this. because we need at least 60,000 to get a ship. Bulletin board, cargo ship, wingman, cost per trip 390, max speed 200, armament. So I believe we can hire this cargo ship, buy some goods, and so if we buy some commodities and we take it to Hermes, then we can sell them and make a little profit. Plastine, brickcrete, Titan alloys, biopolys, and lumber. Okay. So we need to hire a standard ship first, then we can get the commodities. Let's check out public records. Okay, so Cyrus, the Cyrus planetary flag. The Siren planetary flag shows a skiing doctor rampant on a mound of deceased streptocoli, which tells you just about everything you need to know about the place. Cyrus has been a center for medical excellence ever since the first settler, Jeckum Diddley Butts, stepped out into one of the many imposing glaciers, breathed deeply in the crisp fresh air, and promptly what? Promptly died? I believe he died. But it doesn't look like we can. Oh yeah, we can. Promptly collapsed with a triple intestinal prolapse, a consequence of a particularly virile bacteria, bacilla native to the planet. 90% of the first settlers died of various unpleasant diseases, and the survivors have been battling infectious death ever since. Wow. Simultaneously building some of the cleanest, whitest hospitals you've ever seen. Popular with the mountain sports fanatics and the terminally ill. Cyrus is a pleasant place to both live and holiday, with the uncrowded conditions making for some of the Tri-System's cheaper real estate. The only problem with the place is the company. After a while, beery rugby-playing doctors, technicolor snow surfers with vacant grinning nurses tend to irritate somewhat. Still, medical supplies of all varieties are cheap and plentiful, so if we want to buy medical supplies, we go to this planet and buy them. And they'll do a great line of restorative liver, heart, and lung surgery. I wish the genitourinary specialists didn't have such cold hands, though. Okay. Oh, no, we want to go back there and read a little bit more about the planet. So let's see what Anther says. Alright, Anther, cradle of humanity. Alas, it is not the world it once was. A few thousand years of really serious history has turned this once pleasant planet into a smog-laden, filthy war zone. Anna and her today consists of two types of terrain: vast, complex cities where anything of any note is based, commerce, industry, spaceports, gambling dens, bars, whorehouses, and the like. And everything else, which is just one grainy yellow mess, studded here and there with the odd resilient remnant of the first civilization. The air is without a doubt the lowest quality of all the breathable atmospheres in the tri-system. The water is poisonous to anyone who hasn't spent a lifetime building up resistance to it, and the local food is a mixture of cheap, vat-grown protohydrates and whatever can grow in the horribly damaged soil. Suzerainty of the unprepossessing locale is disputed by two thoroughly opposite factions. Originally humanists, resentful of every technological development past the plow and crossbow, and more productive but highly paranoid of pro-technologists who are more accurately just anti-humanists. Years after the events that spawned this internecine strife, things haven't been much better. You've really got to watch your step if you're thinking of trading here. Even wearing an antique digital watch is enough to get you an arrow in the back from some wide-eyed humanist, whereas the pro-technology activists are even more unpredictable. Look too low-tech, wear non-synthetic clothing, read a book, be seen to eat anything not grown in a vat, and they'll take you for a humanist. Appear overly off-world, and they'll know you're just and they'll know you as a traitor. Hard feelings run deep towards all descendants of the treacherous Hephaestans. Of course, there are a lot of people who just try to get on with the rather sordid business of living in this less attractive part of the galaxy, but by and large, quick in, quick out is the rule for Anna, which is a pity, as there's nowhere in the galaxy which offers such a wealth of archaeological and architectural interest. Interesting. So, let's see what Athos is. Atmosphere is breathable, that's good. Athos has one of the more diverse economies of the smaller worlds. Although it was first settled due to its mineral wealth, other industries have also sprung up. This is one of the outworlds which actually not only extracts its own natural resources, but also manufactures them in situ. This has created a much more stable economy and environment for the colony. And due to this, it is the only outworld which is governed by its own elected body, the others being run from Janus 4. Although the harsh environment does not naturally support plant life, the Athonians have not let this dampen their enthusiasm for agriculture. Apart from the great shield of Janus IV, Athos has the largest outdoor enclosed area of all the worlds. Here, they not only grow enough produce for themselves, but also export their more luxurious goods to the rest of the Confederation. They have also synthetically created the best known form of fertilite, which enhance crop output and quality by almost 50%. So if we want to buy fertilizer, we get it here and sell it elsewhere. Okay. Bex, or Hicksville Isaac, as it's better known, the butt of just about every joke ever told. Bex is notorious for four things: agriculture, religion, beer, and stupidity. Although the last reputation owes much to the previous three, its origin goes right back to the manner in which the planet was settled sometime before the D-Drive was invented. A colony ship was dispatched from Hephaestus on the 119-year journey that separated the two planets at the time. Unfortunately for the colonists, the D-Drive was invented some 70 years after they left. So the expected settlers landed on the planet only to find another group of settlers had arrived 30 years previously. Their journey having taken a mere 4 weeks. What was worse, a goodly proportion of the second batch of colonists had been Arthurians, and a new, more pacifistic version of humanism. The Church of Ham had taken firm root on the planet. Given the cumulative effect that these revelations, it is not altogether surprising that an obsessional interest in the production of the intoxicating liquor took hold among the Hephaestan settlers, an interest which developed into Beck's prime export industry. Nowadays, Beck's is a peaceful, laid-back planet, producing the majority of the Tri-Systems beer, real food, and incomprehensible religious tracts. The thrill-seeking pilot may find it a little dull. Terrestrial pastimes number straw chewing, dungaree wearing, and line dancing among the most popular. But for the trader looking to make a good living, Beck's Commodity Exchange is one of the most important buildings in the galaxy. Just don't talk to any of the glassy-eyed fanatics that populate the starport. They are more difficult to get rid of than a dose of hermetic chlamydia. Wow. Corinthius. Okay. Until Carillion gemstones were found on Corinthius, it had little to offer. Until that point, the planet had only produced low-grade ores for the Tri-Systems market. Now, however, this planet is one of the Confederation's most valued assets, and the government leases 5-year mining rights to companies. At the moment, the lease revenue pays for 10% of all the Confederation's expenditures, while the companies which have the rights are some of the most powerful and wealthy in the Tri-Systems. Good to know. All right. So those are the planets that we can trade with. Companies. Okay, we'll just glance through these. We've got a bar. Cyrus Real Ale Association recently voted the Triple B, as it is known, to the best ale tavern in the Tri-Systems. All their beer comes from the esteemed Janus disciples of Ham. Brewery. It is stored in Zork wood casks at precisely 1.5 degrees and is served in the traditional three-handed stein from a foot-powered pump. Thousands of ale fanatics descend upon the tavern every year, and the chapel to the rear of the establishment has claimed several somewhat befuddled converts to the Amphicolor Order. Alright, we got a pirate clan. Colder than 10 minutes in a vacuum. Faster than a Beck's monk when last orders are called. And more terminal than a taxi fare on Janus 4. This highly organized and calculating band of cyborgs have one and only purpose in life: find humans, kill them, and steal their ship and or possessions. After becoming rather irritated at having to do all the dirty work for the humans, they haven't looked back since, as they opted to take one of the old cyborg cliches of bloody revolt and haven't looked back since. As one of them was heard to say recently over the sub-vacuum frequency, "We've never had it so good." Would you argue the point? I don't even think about messing with them. Okay, so stay away from the cyborgs. Crazy Eric's Ordnance Emporium. It sounds like he should have one of those inflatable, bendy, twisty balloon guys. Everything a sentient being could ever need in a paranoid universe, all under one pressure dome. When it comes to turning that unassuming family 5-door hatchback into an instrument of mass destruction, Eric is the place to be seen in. Everything from CIS standard issue lasers, one lady owner, to the new state-of-the-art BSC virus emitters can be found here, all available on the buy now, pay at another time continuum finance plan. Drop into a station in your sector soon. Crazy prices. But wait, if you act now, Cirrus Hospital, we learned about them. One of the newest, most respected medical establishments on Cirrus. Dealing mostly with private patients, the AMC specializes in neurosurgery and herpetology, and does take special cases on the free of charge. Specialist cases on free of charge. One of its most notable traits is the use of radical free-form recovery therapy, which seems to have cut trauma recovery times almost in half. And CyrusNet. Starting out as a sandwich ordering service in the adolescent dawn of Cyrus' astonishing economic evolution, the CyrusNet is now connects all aspects of commerce, communication, and entertainment across the planet. Its founder, Verutli Pig Fiddlin'? Oh, don't. No. recently made history after his 5th brain relocation transplant operation brought him up to the grand old age of 420 years. Speaking from his private penthouse complex at Avalon Convalescence Dimension of Zib, Pig Fiddlin was quoted saying, "I feel like a new man and a new woman, too, for that matter." Solicitors acting for his 212th wife, Serafina Mucholushefes, says that they intend to include Pig Fiddlin's new Dead Flash space time cruiser in their claim for alimony settlement. The revolutionary new craft has computational power so powerful that it sees into your planned journey's future and decides whether you are likely to enjoy it or not. If danger, trouble, or boredom is detected, it simply refuses to take you. Pig Fiddlin is rumored to have blown a small star system on acquiring the ship. Okay. So, those are our ships that we can hire. And people, Douglas, that's Joe the bartender, Loomis. Very lore intensive, this game, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna have to hire a ship, and let's start with the cargo ship. And we'll accept it. Okay. And do we need a wingman? Let's see. Look at the size of those nebulas. Uh-huh. Okay. A promising career in unpopular music met an untimely demise when Haggerly wiped out the rest of his group. Approximately, with one bass solo too many due to musical differences. Since that time, he's been on the run from his record company, briefly laying low in the guise of a biology master at the Van Vista Finishing School for Young Ladies and in the Han system. Although a highly skilled combateer, Haggerly nevertheless persists in letting clients down. The many years of living the fast lane have taken their toll on his short and long-term memory. Yeah, I don't think we're going to hire this guy. Oh, he forgets what side he's on in a dogfight. Yeah, we're not gonna hire him. Let's see. The scion of a Thurlian banking family, Duvali, is a prime example of the so-called poor little bitch girls. Wow. A wealthy, educated female who rebels against their upbringing by exposing themselves to severe risks, sporting big hair and satanic tattoos. She flies like a woman possessed and has frequently been seen to employ the extremely hazardous head-on attack after burning straight towards her foe, guns blazing. However, she can also be extremely petulant and employers are warned that she has been known to abandon her charges on a whim. Yeah, no, we're not gonna. Let's see about this guy. Recently released from the mental hospital. That line says it right there. All right. Following treatment for severe neurochemical psychosis sustained after he was accidentally exposed to experimental nerve toxin while delivering prisoners to Hades. Despite extensive leuconomy, he still persists in his belief that it's a mythical warrior known as Wu King, and flies into berserk rage whenever faced with combative situation. However, his skills as a pilot remain undiminished, and his fearless demeanor has made him favorite wingman among merchants, especially those attempting perilous derby gastron run. All right, we'll hire him. He's crazy, but we'll hire him. Okay. Now, let's get some commodities. What are we going to get? Lumber is 7. Plasticine. Let's go for lumber. And we'll take some briquettes too. So we'll take 250 briquettes, and we'll take 200 lumber. 300. All right, we'll take 300. So this is all building supplies. You know, we'll just do 300 each. What do you think? I think that's good enough. What do you guys think? Okay. And we will go. So we hired a ship. We hired a wingman. And let's see if we can. We need to go to. We need to go. We're leaving Hermes. I thought we did. We hired a ship, didn't we? Yeah, we accepted a cargo ship. Got a wingman. Yeah. And now we need to go. So where are we going? We are here. Do we go to the bar again? Okay, so we're back at the bar. And I'm not really quite sure what to do here, if we can do anything. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything at the bar anymore. I think we need to... go back to customs and... Oh, she's having a fit. What's up with her? Okay, so... Let's see, maybe we can take out a loan for a ship? Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not going to let us do that. Oh. Okay. So we could have bought a ship. So we're going to have to sell back some of our commodities. And buy a ship. So let's do this. Since the ship was 10 grand. Oh, I'm gonna need a gun, aren't I? Probably. So let's do this. Let's buy a ship. We'll buy the 10 grand ship. So we bought a ship. Do we have any guns? We have a coolant unit. $6,000. We have 1,000 in credits. Stream laser. Snipe missile. No, we want the laser. We'll buy a laser. We really need 2 lasers, but we don't have. Let's sell a little bit more commodities. Get enough for another laser, and then we're good. Okay. So 600. We'll get another laser. Okay, so we got 2 lasers on our ship. Modules, we don't have. Can't get that. Okay. Now we can go. Now we can leave her. She cannot afford to hire your cargo ship. Do you want to return to customs? Yes. Wow. So we can't afford to hire either of these. Yeah, we can't afford to do anything, guys. Okay. All right, I think we're going to call the game here. And, we'll, let's see. See if there's a place where we can save our progress. Well, we have a ship. Let's see what's going on here. Nope. Your cargo ship has no cargo on board. You still want to hire it? No. Okay. So we are out on the ship now. Oh, mouse is inverted. So that's something to realize.
Incoming email.
Okay. Sir Xavier Shandai. To Sir Lev Eris. We should meet at the Surgeon's Blunder Bar in Ceres. I have some business you need to take care of. This could be the start of a unique business relationship. I have a cobalt blue over ice waiting for when you arrive. Okay? Is there a map? No targets. That's my wingman, right? This is very... I'm so not used to an inverted mouse. Different camera angles, ship view, target track, chase cam. Oh, that's nice. Fixed cam, cinematic. Oh, this is so nice. You don't see a lot of that in modern games, actually. Yeah, I will definitely have to... we're going to end it here for the game. But it's a nice game. It's interesting going back to these games, and I mean, I played this game a long time ago, and it was not one of my favorite ones. I really liked TIE Fighter and X-Wing, and then when TIE Fighter versus X-Wing came out, that was my favorite for a long time. But these games, you look at them, and I mean, they could still hold up today. You've got games like Privateer and whatnot, and let's see. And I mean, if you remaster them, if you redo the cinematics, I mean, that it would be stellar. You know, you got games that have come out recently like that, like Dark Star 1, which is not terribly recent, but you know, it wasn't that long ago. Elite Dangerous, or what's another good one that I've played? The X series is a good one, where you're actually in the cockpit and you're buying, you're selling, you're doing all of these things, and it's just I love the immersion of the game. So, question to anyone who might watch this now and again. What games would you like to see me play online? Which games have you heard of that maybe you never got to play, that you'd like to see, you can't find nowadays? Maybe it's a game that you did play. You used to play it all the time. You loved it, and now on modern computers you can't play it. Perhaps I can bring it up and work some magic and make it happen, and you can get some nostalgia. Like I said, I'm going to work on Neverhood for next stream. That is an awesome game, a lot of fun. I remember showing it to my kids when they were young, and they loved it. A lot of slapstick, wacky stuff going on in that game. I love it. And then maybe we can get into some old school console games too. Classic Mario, or maybe some of the more obscure Nintendo games, or Sega games that are out there. All right. Well, guys, I have had a blast today. We've had a lot of fun. And hopefully, I've entertained you. And we'll see. I'm going to try to stream again. Let's see, today is Wednesday. Let's try again for Friday during the day. I will put a schedule on Twitch, and I will set an alarm, and I will be there. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for showing up, watching the VOD. I hope they don't mute everything. I really hope that doesn't happen. But I love sharing these games and things with you guys. You guys have a great day.